Welcome to Engine Adventures off-road review of this 2021 Nissan Rogue. This one is the SL trim with all-wheel drive, and Nissan calls it an intelligent all-wheel drive. So let's get into it. Let's have some fun, see how it does high-speed off-road, and also what it can do on that steep hill climb. Still in off-road mode. Gonna try and go about 15 over this. I'm in manual mode apparently. There we go.
I'm sure you've already noticed, but the exterior and interior footage has been shot at different times.
So 15 it does all right. I was a little unsure, and the ride's pretty smooth. You can hear some of those bumps, but overall I'd say it does a little better than most of its class, but definitely not as good as the rest of the off-roaders. Impressively done, Nissan, for a small independent suspension vehicle. It is kind of eating up the bumps pretty well. As mentioned in the review video, this one does have the surround view cameras, and as you approach something, let's just go ahead and do that now. So it's just got the map on, but we've got this little hill on the right, and as you approach it, it will bring up the cameras. There you go, and tell you where you're close to it. And then you can also zoom in to get a good look at that tire. Cameras, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's nice having the front view camera and stuff like that for cresting a hill, and being able to see where the big boulders are, but there's no depth perception, so you can't really tell. As far as I can see, this looks pretty flat. You see in the rear view camera a little bit of the texture of the road, but it's really limited on how much you can actually see. So while cameras are helpful, they're not the end-all be-all in off-roading. For parking next to a curb or next to another car, they are great. Okay, normal mode.
Here in normal mode, and in all of the modes actually in the Rogue, watch how responsive the all-wheel drive system is. So almost immediately when the front wheels spin, it begins transferring power to the rear, and then immediately applies the brakes to the wheels that are in the air. The system is extremely responsive, much more so than any Nissan vehicles in the past. These new updated 2021 models are doing much better.
All right, eco mode.
In eco mode, the all-wheel drive system was just as aggressive, but the throttle was much less sensitive. So I had to give it almost full throttle here for it to perform the same as it did in normal mode at about 3/4 throttle.
Sport mode.
Sport mode is just what we expected, with the throttle being much more aggressive. I only had to go about 50% throttle here, but the all-wheel drive system worked roughly the same. It applied the brakes very quickly and was able to transfer power where it needed to go.
We are now in snow mode.
In snow mode, I had to give it full throttle for it to make the climb, but check out the wheel spin. This mode might have been the most aggressive on the braking, allowing it to spin the wheels the least amount in making the climb. Off-road mode. The last mode here is off-road mode, and it was pretty similar to normal mode. The throttle was maybe slightly more aggressive than normal, somewhere in between normal and sport, and the all-wheel drive system was pretty much the same as all the other modes. We're just going to start off in off-road mode for the steep hill climb. The intelligent all-wheel drive system in the Nissan Rogue uses a clutch pack to transfer power to the rear axle, and this clutch pack, as I moved throughout the day testing more and more, was seeming to be less effective. So I wanted to do the most aggressive I possibly could, and you can see here it didn't even make it to the steepest part of the hill before I had to back off and try again. After failing on the hard line, I decided to move over to the easy line, and the Rogue is able to manage it pretty well. I was able to crest the hill no problem at the very top in this attempt, but then when I tried to switch camera angles to film me cresting the hill, I wasn't able to make it. So again, the all-wheel drive system was getting tired, it needed a break. So while I reset the camera, I let the vehicle cool off a little bit, and then we tried again so we can get that breakover angle shot, which you'll see here. And it does touch just barely, and this is the only time I actually did touch in my 3 times where I crested the hill, but it was nothing significant, it just barely scraped. Underneath, we kind of see what we expected. There's just plastic skid plates, more to keep water out, and the fuel tank hangs down really low there on the right. The exhaust is pretty low. Nothing's really very well protected, and nothing's really up and out of the way, but that's what we expect in this class of vehicle. One thing to note in this off-road video, our fog lights are on, headlights are on. Go ahead and turn the headlights to the parking lights, and now no fog lights. So it doesn't have fog lights, it has an extra set of driving lights. Put it into first gear, start from a stop. 5 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour, about 15. So one of the, I don't know how to say this, on par with some of the other CVTs, but anything with a real transmission seems to do around 10. In the worst case, you know, in this class, around 10 miles an hour with it. Obviously the pickup trucks, the four-wheel drive and four-wheel drive low, all that stuff, the SUVs that have those additional features will do better. But yeah, no brakes that whole way, 15 miles an hour for a lot of it. If you're more interested in these vehicles, I do post a lot of information on carrevsdaily.com, and there will be a lot of pictures with more detailed photos of maybe things that you're interested in and want to see, so be sure to check that out. Thank you for watching Engine Adventures off-road review of the 2021 Nissan Rogue. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos, and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it and you give me a thumbs down, be sure to comment down below and let me know why. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.